Hey guys, it's Marcus. As many of you know, when things that are of great importance happen, I tend to like to shoot a video and voice my thoughts. I probably should do it more often because things happen almost daily that are deserving of a narrative. But what happened yesterday with Charlie Kirk is something that is of great impact to me and millions of people worldwide. Yesterday, although I wasn't watching it live, I had my X feed up right when it happened. I clicked over and saw what was happening and watched the video of Charlie being assassinated several times. It was absolutely disturbing. It was heartbreaking. I know it moved me to having weepy eyes, my wife as well. And I just wanted to say some things about it. Charlie Kirk as an individual means so much to me and my family because he represents us. Like the things he said, the things he defended, his behavior, his mannerisms, and his peacefulness in dealing with those issues, albeit having conviction simultaneously, is a representation of who I thrive to be and so many others. And we know that he was assassinated because of that. Here is a man that actually gave a platform to the very people that opposed him. And he debated these people in an effort not to belittle them, but to wake them up. And Charlie should be admired because he didn't dictate his life and his opinions on whether or not it was convenient to hear. He spoke loudly about his faith. He spoke loudly against abortion. He spoke loudly against trans ideology, the entire LGBTQ community, and its effects on society, albeit never hating those people, but instead trying to steer people away from such belief systems. He tolerated insults and responded with knowledge and conviction. I think that we all owe it to Charlie Kirk to speak our minds and to be open to the fact that sometimes you have to offend a certain group of people to defend your life and your livelihood. When Charlie Kirk would say something like DEI is just racism against white people, that wasn't an incorrect statement. And as a father, you were so relieved to hear people be willing to say that, because I never want to see my children go in for a job and be downgraded in their likelihood of getting hired because of the fact that they're white. But that's the truth, and that's where the pendulum has swung. And Charlie wasn't afraid in a world that pushes back so hard today to debate that the trans movement, if you will, is a falsehood. There's really no such thing as trans. It's perversion, and it targets children, and it's infiltrated most of our news sources and things like Disney and their films. And it's a perverse movement that requires recruitment, and children are the target. And our colleges have gone so far down the liberal, perverse path that it took a voice like Charlie to start to bring them back, to be a turning point. And I just think we all owe it to Charlie to speak our minds. If you're a young man or a young woman in college that is a conservative, I would love to see people doing Charlie booths at their schools every day, because this can be a turning point, and it should be. Recently Charlie got in a lot of trouble, or I say trouble, but I watched like Van Jones on CNN talking about how he was, basically race baiting and propping up racial tension in the United States, because he said that the young lady Irina, who was recently killed on that mass transit system, was killed because she was white. But that was the truth. That's what happened. And if you had taken that exact scenario and you had made the victim a young black lady and the aggressor a white male, and if you had 3 other white people sitting beside her when she was accosted, and nobody did anything, and as the white male walked off, he said he had got that black lady, dude, the cities would have burned. It would have made George Floyd look like a hiccup. And Charlie Kirk said that. And it's true. But most people are afraid to say things like that. But that dialogue has to be discussed. And not in a hateful or a vengeful way, but in a way that enlightens people, that does bring equality back to right and wrong, and takes it away from black and white, if you will. And the things that society are facing today, they're largely moral, and there is a narrative driven through mainstream media. And we have to be thankful for people like Elon Musk and the X platform that allows the truth to be spoken without these filters of a narrative. And I guess I'm saying all this because Charlie Kirk was murdered because he is me and I am him. And I don't mean that I have the same oratory value and presence as a man like him. I mean, I wouldn't ever even think like that. But I mean from a moral perspective, from a father with a wife, with 2 children, and as a man that sees what the world has sometimes called reverse discrimination happening all the time. But discrimination is discrimination. Hatred is hatred. And facts are facts. And we needed a man like him to speak plainly, to have open forum discussions. And I am just heartbroken that he's gone. And I just hope that all my friends and all of his supporters will be now the outspoken voice that Charlie was. I hope that we have 10 million Charlies now, because that's what the world needs. It's a modern movement, and it's healthy, it's sane, and it's needed. So God bless you, Charlie, and to all my friends and fellow people that love Charlie as much as I did, just we're all hurting together, and may God bless his wife and his children. May the baby be taken care of. And Charlie, just thank you for what you've done, and I hope that I can somehow help continue your legacy.